Let me share something with you that's going to change the way you see success forever. Most people are walking around thinking success is rare or that it happens to a special few. They look at winners and think, that person is lucky, or they're different from me. But here's what most people don't realize: success isn't rare, it isn't strange. In fact, it's normal when you assume it. Listen closely to what I'm saying. The moment you assume something is normal for yourself, your mind and your actions line up with that assumption. You don't have to force it, you don't have to fight with yourself. Your entire system, your thoughts, your feelings, your habits, starts to organize around that assumption. It isn't magic, it's not some secret formula, it's how your mind is built to work. Think about this. How do you act when you assume you belong somewhere? You walk in with confidence, you talk differently, you think differently, you don't hesitate, you move like it's already yours. Now compare that to when you're doubting yourself, thinking you're an outsider, or hoping someone else will give you permission. Everything changes, right? Your posture, your voice, even the way you see opportunities. This isn't just in your head. This is the principle that runs underneath every result you get in life, and it's operating whether you know it or not. Whether you're conscious of it or not, you are always assuming something about yourself and your place in the world. And your life, your results, your relationships, your business, they're all reflecting that back to you. You don't get what you want. You get what you assume over and over as true for you. That's the difference between people who win and people who wait. Consider this. Most people are living in reaction. They're waiting for something to happen before they feel successful. They're waiting for the result before they believe they can have it. They look at their bank account, their job, their relationships, and they say, once I see the proof, then I'll know I'm successful. But it doesn't work like that. You don't wait for the outside to tell you what's possible. You decide first. You assume first. Then the world begins to adjust to your assumption. Let me explain what's really happening here. Your mind, your subconscious especially, doesn't care if what you're telling it is true or false. It just takes what you repeatedly give it and works to make it real. So if you keep feeding it doubt, hesitation, or a sense of being less than, it will take that as your order and work to fulfill it. If you feed it certainty, expectation, and the feeling of being a winner, it works just as hard to bring that about. It's not about forcing positive thinking. It's about setting a definite chief aim, a clear, specific outcome you're committed to. When you hold that aim and you assume it is normal for you, your subconscious gets to work. It brings ideas, energy, and persistence you didn't even know you had. But if you hesitate, if you keep checking the outside for permission, you'll keep getting doubt reflected back at you. It's never about the outside first. It's about what you accept inside. That's where it all begins. Think about this for a second. Every day, you're having conversations with yourself. You're telling yourself stories about what's possible, who you are, and what you deserve. This is happening whether you're aware of it or not. That inner talk is called autosuggestion. It's simply what you're repeating to yourself day after day. And here's what most people don't realize. Autosuggestion isn't just about saying affirmations. It's about what you repeatedly assume is true. If you walk around saying, I'm not good enough, or things never work out for me, that's autosuggestion. If you say, I always find a way, or success is normal for me, that's autosuggestion too. The mind is always listening. It takes your repeated thoughts and feelings and it builds your reality around them. Over time, those repeated suggestions become beliefs. And those beliefs shape your actions, your habits, and your results. It's not the world outside that shapes you first, it's these inner conversations. So if you want to change your life, you have to start by changing what you're saying to yourself over and over. The moment you do, everything else begins to shift. Let me explain what's really happening underneath all this. Faith isn't just believing in something out there. Faith is the feeling of absolute certainty that what you've assumed is already real for you. Most people think faith is something you use only when you're desperate, when nothing else is working. But in truth, faith is the foundation of every result you get. When you assume something is normal for you, with no doubt, no hesitation, you're exercising faith. Your mind and your body respond to that assumption. You start to notice opportunities you never saw before. You start to act in ways you couldn't even imagine when you were doubting yourself. Faith isn't a wish. Faith is a decision. It's a settled assumption. The moment you move from hoping to knowing, from waiting to having, you activate faith. And that's when results start to show up. Not because you're forcing them, but because you're aligned inside. You act differently, you persist longer, and you attract people and circumstances that match your assumption. It's not about forcing yourself to believe something you don't feel. It's about choosing, deliberately, what you will accept as true for you. The more you repeat that, the stronger your faith becomes. And the stronger your faith, the more normal success feels for you. Persistence is the bridge between your assumption and your results. Let me share something with you. Most people give up not because they're incapable, not because the goal is too big, but because they haven't made success normal for themselves. When you assume success is normal, persistence isn't a struggle. It's just what you do. You keep going because it would feel strange to quit. Think about how you brush your teeth every morning. You don't have to force yourself. It's normal. That's what happens when you assume something. It becomes automatic. You don't have to push. You don't have to constantly motivate yourself. You just keep moving because that's who you are. Persistence isn't about grinding endlessly. It's about holding your assumption steady no matter what shows up on the outside. You keep acting, keep adjusting, keep learning because you know deep down that success is already yours. It's just a matter of time before the outside catches up to the inside. The only thing that can stop you is letting go of your assumption, but when you make it a part of your identity, nothing can shake you. That's real persistence. It's quiet. It's steady. It doesn't quit. Here's what most people don't realize about desire. It's not just wanting something. It's energy. It's fuel. But desire alone is just the beginning. Desire has to be transmuted, changed into action. That's when it becomes powerful. Let me explain what's really happening. When you want something deeply, it creates a tension in you. You feel pulled toward it, but if you just sit with that feeling and never act on it, it turns into frustration. Or worse, it fades away. But the moment you take that desire and you assume it's meant for you, and you start moving in that direction, that's when it changes your life. Desire, when combined with action, becomes a force that moves mountains. You start making calls, you start learning new things, you connect with people, you try, you fail, you adjust, you keep going. Every step you take, the desire grows stronger because you see yourself becoming the person who has what you want. The key is to use desire as fuel, not just as a wish. Don't just want, move. Don't just hope, act. The energy of desire, when transmuted into action, is unstoppable. And it all starts with the assumption that success is normal for you. When you assume that, desire naturally turns into action. Let's talk about organized thought. Most people let their minds run wild. They jump from worry to hope to doubt, back and forth all day. Their thoughts are scattered. But here's what most people don't realize. Your mind wants direction. It wants a definite chief aim, a clear target. When you organize your thoughts around a definite purpose, everything lines up. You wake up knowing what to do. You focus your energy. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Organized thought is like building a house. You wouldn't just throw bricks in a pile and hope it turns into a home. You need a blueprint. You need order. The same is true with your thoughts. When you decide, this is my aim, this is what I accept as true for me, your mind gets to work. It looks for ways to make it happen. It ignores distractions. You start to notice opportunities that move you closer to your aim. The more you organize your thought, the easier success becomes. It doesn't mean you never have doubts. It means you keep your focus on what you've decided is true for you. The world outside may try to pull you off track, but you keep bringing your mind back to your definite chief aim. That's how winners operate. They think on purpose. They organize their thoughts, and their results follow. And think about how most people live. They're waiting for something to change on the outside before they change on the inside. They say, when I get the job, then I'll feel confident. Or, when I lose the weight, then I'll believe I'm healthy. But it's backwards. The outside world is always reflecting what you've accepted inside. It doesn't work the other way around. The moment you accept a new identity for yourself, when you assume, I am this kind of person, your actions start to line up. You begin to act differently, speak differently, even think differently. Your habits shift. You start to notice opportunities you never saw before. Let me share something with you. You don't become successful and then feel like a winner. You feel like a winner first, and then you become successful. It's not about faking it. It's about accepting it as normal for you, inside, before the world is caught up. When you do that, your reality has no choice but to reflect it back to you. That's how every lasting change happens. Not from the outside in, but from the inside out. Here's what's really going on. Every person in this room, right now, is living out a pattern that matches their most dominant assumptions. These patterns aren't fate. They're not destiny. They're habits of thought, of feeling, of expectation. And most people don't even know they're doing it. They think life is happening to them, but really, they're setting the pattern day after day with what they accept as normal. If you want to change your results, you have to begin by changing the pattern. That starts with a new assumption. You pick the result you want. You accept it as possible, then as probable, then as normal for you. You hold that assumption, even when the outside hasn't changed yet. Your mind starts to build new patterns, new beliefs, new habits, new actions. Over time, those patterns become your new normal, and the world has to reflect it. It has no choice. The moment you assume success as normal, you set a new pattern, and everything in your life begins to move in that direction. You don't have to fight with the old. You just keep choosing the new over and over until it takes over. Let me share something with you about identity. Identity always comes first. Results follow. Most people try to change their lives by changing what they do. They try to force new habits, new routines, new actions. But if you don't change the identity underneath, the assumption of who you are, nothing sticks. It's like trying to plant new seeds in rocky soil. The moment you stop forcing, the old identity takes over. But if you start with identity, if you assume, I am the kind of person who succeeds, everything else falls into place. Your actions become natural. Your habits become automatic. You don't have to fight with yourself. You don't have to constantly push. You just do what a successful person does because that's who you are. The outside always follows the inside. That's the law. You can't outrun your own assumption. So if you want new results, start with a new identity. Assume it's normal for you. Act from that place and watch how quickly your life begins to reflect it. Here's what most people don't realize about how assumptions work. Every time you repeat a thought, a feeling, or an expectation, you're making it stronger. Your mind is like a garden. What you plant and water grows. If you keep watering doubt, you get more doubt. If you keep watering confidence and expectation, you get more of that. The problem is most people are watering weeds, old stories, old doubts, old limits. They don't even know they're doing it. They think it's just the way things are. But the truth is, you can pull up those weeds anytime. You can plant something new. It just takes repetition. You decide what you want. You set your definite chief aim. You assume it's normal for you. And you keep watering that thought day after day until it takes root. It won't happen overnight. But the more you repeat it, the stronger it gets. That's how every winner thinks. They don't let the old weeds take over. They keep planting and watering what they want until it becomes their reality. Consider this. You're always creating, whether you know it or not. You're either creating by default, just reacting to whatever comes up, or you're creating by design. Most people are living by default. They wake up, check their phone, react to the news, the bills, the problems, and they let the day push them around. But winners, people who succeed over and over, they create by design. They decide what they want. They assume it's already theirs. They organize their thoughts, their time, and their energy around that aim. They use autosuggestion on purpose. They speak to themselves like winners. They act with faith. They persist because quitting would feel unnatural. They use desire as fuel, and they build new patterns step by step. It's not about being perfect. It's about being deliberate. You choose every day what you'll accept as true for you. You set the tone, and the world reflects it. That's how winners operate. They don't leave it to chance. They take the reins. Let me explain something most people overlook. The principle is always working. Whether you're aware of it or not, your assumptions are shaping your reality. The law doesn't care if you know about it. It just responds to what you repeat, what you accept, what you expect. That's why you see people who seem to win at everything. They assume it's normal for them. They don't question it. They don't wait for proof. They just move as if it's already true. And the world adjusts. You can see this in every area of life. Business, sports, relationships, health. The winners always act from the inside out. They don't take their cues from the outside. They set the tone, and everything else falls in line. It's not luck. It's not special talent. It's the principle, working perfectly every time. You have the same power, you just have to use it on purpose. The moment you start assuming success is normal for you, consistently, deliberately, you start to see results that match your assumption. Think about this. Every new level of success you reach will ask you to assume something new about yourself. The old assumptions won't get you there. You can't bring the old identity into a new result. That's why growth sometimes feels uncomfortable, because you're letting go of what used to be normal for you, and you're choosing something bigger. It's not always easy. Doubt will show up. Old patterns will try to pull you back, but if you keep your assumptions steady, if you keep acting as if the new result is normal for you, you'll break through. That's the real work. It's not just about effort. It's about alignment. You align your thoughts, your words, your actions, your feelings with the new identity. And the world eventually catches up. That's how every winner moves from level to level. They keep choosing new assumptions. They keep expanding what's normal for them, and their results follow. So here's what I want you to do. Don't wait for proof. Don't wait for someone else to tell you it's possible. Pick one area of your life. Decide what you want. Set a definite chief aim. Assume it's normal for you to have it. Use autosuggestion on purpose. Repeat it to yourself. Feel it. Act on it. Organize your thoughts and your time around that aim. Persist even when it feels uncomfortable. Let desire fuel your action. And keep watering that new assumption day after day. Test this in your own life. Watch how your reality begins to shift. Don't just listen to me. Prove it to yourself. The principle is always working. Stay consistent in your assumption, and success will become normal for you.